Welcome back to our 2023 webinar series. I'm Javeri, the Study Abroad Coordinator for the University of Tokyo India office and the facilitator for today's webinar. I have been joined by Ms. Sakshi Roy as a sub-facilitator. We're here again for the Global Network Project of the University of Tokyo India office, which is hosted by the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science and Technology, the Japanese government. We hope to encourage you to pursue your further studies in Japan. In today's webinar, we have been joined by several renowned universities who will give us insights into their undergraduate, graduate, and doctorate programs. Our expert panelists will help you today with any questions that you have regarding Japanese universities. So please feel free to ask your questions in the Q&A portal and not the chat box. Once again, please make sure that you're asking your questions in the Q&A portal. And panelists, please make sure to turn off your video and audio when you're not presenting. Now I'll be sharing today's agenda. I hope everyone can see my screen. Okay, so firstly, we'll have an introduction by the University of Tokyo India office by Ms. Sakshi Roy, the Assistant Manager of the University of Tokyo India office. Then we'll have a presentation on study in Japan by Ms. Sakshi Roy again, followed by the presentation by Simane University by Professor Hiroki, the Vice President, and Professor Hemant from the Graduate School of Natural Science and Technology. Then we'll have a presentation by Hiroshima University by Professor Das KAUSHIK from the Graduate School of Advanced Science and Engineering. And lastly, we'll have a presentation by the University of Tsukuba by Mr.Mahdi Katsumata, the University International Administrator from the Bureau of People Initiatives. Now, I'd like to request Ms. Sakshi Roy to commence the webinar.
Thank you for the introduction, Ms. Kushi. So I'll just try to share my screen. Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
So thank you very much, all of you, for attending this webinar. So today we are joined by world-class universities and participants from different parts of the world. So it's a great pleasure for us that you have participated in our webinars, and thank you for supporting our online sessions by attending. And I would like to thank all of the expert panelists from prestigious Japanese universities. Thank you very much for contributing into this webinar series. So my name is Sakshi Roy, and I'm working at the University of Tokyo India office for the last 3 years as a part of Study in Japan project. So I've been trained in Japan, and I am assisting Indian students to pursue their higher studies in Japan. So today I'm going to share a brief information on overview of study and work in Japan. In case if you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me an email. I'll be very happy to assist you for your queries regarding study in Japan. So I'll start my presentation with a brief introduction about our office. So our office is a part of Study in Japan Global Network Project in Southwest Asia by MEXT, and our aim is to promote studying in Japan on behalf of all the Japanese universities through collaboration and networking between overseas regional offices. So we provide information on Japanese universities, which is of course free of cost. We organize education fairs, seminars throughout India. So as of now, after COVID-19 outbreak, we have started this online webinar series to spread information about study in Japan. And apart from that, we also manages committees for coordinator for study in Japan. And our office also maintains the network of Indian and Japanese alumni of the University of Tokyo. All right. So for a start, why should you consider study in Japan, and why should you consider Japan as your higher educational destination? Although there are so many reasons to choose Japan, but I have mentioned very few of them for you. So first, world-class education standard. As all of you know, Japan is a world leader in the field of science, the automobiles, digital cameras, fiber optics, artificial hertz, and other products recognized around the world. And also, Japanese educational institutions do not just, develop your academic abilities. They also instill your personal values, such as proper behavior in the relationship, and earns high praise from the international students. Second is international environment. Around 310,000 international students from around 190 regions and countries are now studying in Japanese universities, and also Japanese language institutes. There are so many Japanese language institutes and schools over there. So you'll get a diverse and international environment while studying in Japan. In addition, more and more Japanese universities are offering courses in English, so that there's the need to learn the Japanese does not become your necessity. Again, there is a safe, clean, and beautiful country. Japan is a very safe country with a low crime rates, and most of the people are very polite. Japan has a simplified student immigration procedures. And also, Japan has some of the world's leading tech and car companies, such as Sony, Nikon, Canon, Hitachi, Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, etc. So no doubt you live a tech-aided life in Japan. All right, so talking about Nobel laureates, since 1949, Japan is the first and the most Nobel laureate country in Asia. So as of now in Japan, there has been total 31 Nobel Prize winners, and 16 of them are associated with the University of Tokyo. Talking about the rich nature and culture, so Japan is known for its rich natural environment and 4 beautiful seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winters. And I must tell you, Japan has it all: bustling cities with cutting-edge fashion and technology, snow-capped peaks, tropical beaches, and 23 World Heritage Sites. Also, there are so many summer festivals, cherry blossom, hot springs are also there. So you'll get an extraordinary experience while you study in Japan. All right, so this is the information about the number of higher education institutions in Japan. So Japanese universities have a global reputation for excellence and innovation, with 10 institutions ranked in the world top 200 by the QS World University Ranking 2023. The University of Tokyo ranked #1 in Japan and 23rd in the world, and also several other Japanese universities which are participating in our webinar series are ranked among the top 500. So as you can see in the table, there are 80 plus national universities, 90 plus public universities, and approximately 600 plus private universities offering a variety of programs in Japan. And many of the Japanese universities offer courses in English in various disciplines and do have the world's best research facilities. All right, so this is a basic information about academic fees. Japanese universities has lower tuition fee as compared to the other Western countries. Also, schools in Japan charge an admission fee in the first year and the tuition fee and some other fees as per the semester wise. So in Japan, tuition fees are same for local and foreign students. So if you ask me in Indian rupees, so it will start approximately from 6 lakhs per year, whereas you'll have to pay 18 lakhs in US public universities. And also in Japan, you can apply for tuition fee exemptions as well. On the top of the tuition fees, you will probably, need about $850 per month to cover your living expenses, such as accommodation, food, and travel, etc. So if you study in a smaller city where the accommodation and travel costs are low, you might get on by less. But in Tokyo, it is easy to spend much more, especially if you live in your own apartment. Also, student accommodation can be a bit costly in Tokyo, considering the size and the standard that you get. So the cost may vary depending on the metropolitan and rural areas. All right, so about undergraduate and graduate schools in Japan, bachelor's lasts for 4 years and it will take up to 2 years to complete a master's degree and a minimum of 3 years to earn a PhD degree. So this number may vary depending on the faculty, like for medicine and veterinary sciences, it will take up to 4 years. Student status, you can enroll in a university to earn a degree as a regular student, or if you're not studying to earn a degree, you can enroll as a research, credit earning, or audit students. And about the application period, most of the Japanese university allow 2 intakes. For spring semester, application process starts from September to October, and for autumn semester, application process starts from March to April. All right, so this I have just included the example of the application schedule and the process of Japanese universities. So this is just an example, although it may vary in few universities. So please check their official website before applying to any undergraduate or graduate schools in Japan. And below are the documents, basic documents that are required when applying for a program offered in English by Japanese universities. So you may be required application form, personal statement, official transcript from high schools, graduation certificate, your English test scores, letter of recommendation, and passport copy. Yeah. All right, so this is basically a steps you should follow when preparing for application to a graduate school. So in Japan, most graduate schools for both non-degree students and degree-seeking students require a research plan or proposal. So firstly, you'll have to prepare a research plan, then you'll have to find a professor in your field of interest. You have to contact them, send them a letter of recommendation from your previous academic advisor, and then you have to discuss your research plan and obtain the consent to be accepted into their laboratory before enrollment. So once you're sure that this is the right program, you can submit the application with required documents. Yeah. About the scholarships, there are two types of financial assistance for international students. So first is scholarship, and second is tuition exemption or reduction by each university. So for MEC scholarships, you can apply through Embassy of Japan in your home country, and for university recommendation, you can apply through university. Just the student exchange support program is this program is a is a program for exchange students for coming to Japan based on the exchange agreements between universities. So please check with your university for available programs. Also, after the admission and enrollment, you can apply for mixed honors scholarships and private foundations and local government scholarship. On the top of it, you can apply for tuition exemption or reduction scheme for international students, which are offered by Japanese universities. So talking about employment in Japan, international students are allowed to work part-time in Japan up to 28 hours a week. And about 75% of international students are working part-time. And the average monthly income is about 60,000 Japanese yen, which is equivalent to $430 US. Also, Japan is hiring more and more talented international students regardless of their nationality. So there are many job fairs specially organized for international students in Japan. And also, each university have their career advising centers for helping students with their jobs. So you can also find an internship for yourself through job search website and through dedicated internship agents. All right, so this is the end of my presentation. If you have further, if you need further information, kindly you can follow our Facebook page, Instagram page to get updates regarding study in Japan webinars and related information. All right, so now I would like to introduce our YouTube channel. We have been conducting study in Japan webinar twice a month, where we'll introduce the various Japanese universities to all of you and offering you a chance to ask any queries related to the study in Japan to each university representative. So to check the recordings of our previous webinars, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and it would be very grateful if you can support us by liking and sharing our YouTube videos. So thank you very much for your attention. Please enjoy today's session, and please follow our Facebook and Instagram page for more updates. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sakshi, for the very insightful presentation. I'm sure students have learned more about the study and work life in Japan. I'll share my agenda once again. So now we'll have presentation by Simane University. So firstly, I'll talk a little about the university. Simane University is a very well-renowned national university in Japan. The multidisciplinary programs at the university enable students to broaden their perspective. Hundreds of international students from different countries master in a myriad of fields through their programs and land up with great employment opportunities. Now I'd like to request Professor Hiroki and Professor Hemant to give us an insight into Shimane University.
Okay, thank you very much for introduction, Ms. Kushi. Hello, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Professor Hiroki Otani, trustee and vice president of research and globalization of Simane University. Thank you very much for joining us this seminar and giving us a chance to introduce Simane University. I understand that here Indian students are the main participants, but I'd like to extend my sincere welcome to students also from other Asian countries, if any. Professor Hemant's neutral party, Hemant Sensei, will later explain the detail about Simane University. But first, I'd like to emphasize some of the advantages, merits of studying at Simane University and in Simane. Because it is a rural area, it is very quiet and safe, and the cost of living is low. Matsue, where the main campus is located, and Izumo, 30 kilometers away west from Matsue, where the School of Medicine is located. Both cities are compact, and you can get around the whole city by bicycle. Among the many rural areas in Japan, Matsue and Izumo are the cities where one can feel especially close to Japanese culture. For example, in Matsue, we have Matsue Castle, a national treasure. The lord of the castle about 200 years ago valued the culture of tea ceremony, which led to the development of excellent Japanese sweets. The highest quality Japanese sweets are connected with the tea ceremony and represented by Kyoto, Kanazawa, and Matsue. And the tradition continues to this day. You can enjoy sightseeing tour boat, Horikawa pleasure boat, that goes Horikawa River that surrounds the Matsue Castle, and there are many other historic and scenic places in Matsue. Izumo City is home to another national treasure, Izumo Taisha Shrine, which has a history of over 1,300 years. Many of Japan's myths and tales of God were born in connection with this place. There are many ancient monuments around, and the representative items, including national treasures like 350 copper swords and others, are exhibited in the Simane Museum of Ancient Izumo, which is right next to the Izumo Taisha Shrine. Izumo City is even more compact than Matsue, and the living cost is even lower. Simane also has a wonderful natural environment with the sea and the mountains nearby, and you can enjoy 4 distinct seasons, but not too extreme, not too hot in summer, not too much snow in winter, moderate. Matsue City is located on the shore of Lake Shinji, which is one of the 100 most beautiful places to watch the sunset in Japan. In Simane, water is very clean, food is rich and healthy. The fish and Simane Wagyu beef are very tasty and much cheaper than in big cities. By the way, folks, how old do you think I am? I'm now 67 years old, maybe you look younger, right? I spent 6 years in Kyoto for medical school at Kyoto University and 2 years as a doctor in Kyoto and Osaka area. Then I was transferred to Izumo in 1983 and have lived there for 38 years. And after retirement, I moved to Matsue and lived for 2 years. For this period, I've been eating fish and seaweed almost every day and enjoy a moderate amount of good sake, good water and rice, and with the tradition of excellent sake brewing, there are many good sakes in Izumo, in Shimane. So this diet proved to be medically very healthy, and I believe this is what is preventing me, at least partially, from aging. Last but not the least, 5 nearby cities, including Matsue and Izumo, have formed a Mayors Association and have strong ties with Kerala State, at the government, company, and university levels. The employment support available through this system is very advantageous for you for getting job after graduation. So finally, I hope you will join us at Shimane University and enjoy study, research, and a rich, healthy, and cultural life here in Shimane. Thank you very much for your kind attention. So next, Dr. Semyon Sensei will explain the detail about Shimane University. So please, Semyon Sensei.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, let me first share my screen and then let me take it from there. Is my screen visible? Okay. From my end, it looks fine. So let me start. First, let me thank all the participants here today. And then, so I'm Hemant Nutalapati. I'm an assistant professor in Life and Environmental Sciences faculty in Shimane University. As already been mentioned, we are a national university located in Matsue. I'll give a brief about those things very quickly. But before that, let me first thank the organizers, especially University of Tokyo India office, Professor Kato, and Kushi-san, Sakshi-san, for very sincerely making a great effort to publicizing Japanese universities in India. So, well, my outline today is very simple. Let me first introduce myself as to why I'm talking today, so that I hope I can connect with the students who are on the other side of the aisle, and why I think Shimane University is a good choice for Indian students. I'm an Indian from my name, as is obvious. So I live here. I've been living here for a long time, and why I think Simane University is a good place to study, and what kind of programs do we offer, and at what level, and what is the admission procedure like, and what are the support mechanisms that we have, and some key takeaways at the end. So I am Hemant. Of course, I studied in very south part of India. I originally come from Tamil Nadu, and then I moved to Hyderabad, did my bachelor's course there. I moved to Lucknow, Banaras in UP, did my master's course there, and then I moved to Taiwan for, usually students try to move westwards, but like most of you here today, I was also interested in the East. So anyways, I went to Taiwan to pursue my PhD studies, and then I started working in Japan back in 2015 as an assistant professor. So my major areas of research interests include microspectroscopy, especially Raman spectroscopy, research CV Raman from India. So we use lasers and microscopes in order to actually study biological samples and medical samples. That's why I said biomedical spectroscopy. And a part of this research mainly depends on a lot of data that we acquire through images and spectra. So data science is an integral part of the research. So primarily, we are looking to develop some label-free biology and diagnostic techniques, especially using machine learning and artificial intelligence. And more recently, I've been very much interested in understanding how machine learning and artificial intelligence works, so that I'm slowly getting into explainable AI, so that we understand or take decisions based on, for example, the molecular information that is hidden in this kind of spectroscopic data. So enough of me. So if you are going to be, if any of you are interested in the research that I am doing, so you can always write to me, and this is my contact information. So with this background, I think, I have lived in different parts of India or in other countries, and I have been a foreign student myself. And I speak different languages. I've been experiencing different cultures. So I think I can probably give you a fair share of how a student life in Japan would be like. Even though I was never a student in Japan, I observe all my students up here, and I hope I can give you some kind of key takeaways. So as for my laboratory, we have some wonderful setup where we have many good highly advanced spectrometers and microscopes. We have different kinds of lasers. We use all different sorts of optics, and we make ourselves these things. We make ourselves in the laboratory. So we just buy all these parts and then put together the instrument and then try to get something very unique. So that's why I said if any of you are interested in any of these areas, you can always feel free to write to me. Publicity for myself is done. Now let's get to the business of letting you know the most important thing about what's going on in Simane University as a whole. So first, if I talk about Simane University, probably students are wondering why or where is it, right? So this is Japan. I think most of you already know. And Tokyo area is here, and Osaka is here, and Hiroshima is here. So where are we? We are in this part of the Japan, on the west coast of Japan. This is Simane. So here we call it as prefecture. Prefecture technically is equivalent to state, like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and so on. So Simane is the state, the prefecture that we call in Japanese. And as you see, this is a very long coastline. I think already OTANI Sensei explained to you that we have very strong collaboration with Kerala. So that is because of this primary reason, because we have very long coastline, and we also are backwater. So the financial and economic system conditions are more or less parallel. So there's a lot of give and take that can happen between these two regions. So that is why we have a very strong collaboration at even business and economic level between the governments, of course. And anyways, Simane is here, and Matsue is the capital city of Simane. And what is so unique about this place? This is a very large state with very small, very low population, with very low density, probably 100 people per kilometer square. You cannot probably imagine, but the whole state, we have about 7 lakh people. So the main capital city is Matsue. Matsue is here, and there's Izumo here. Even though they are very small, large place and very few people, there are major attractions that are also culturally very important here. So we have several things in Simane that is very noteworthy. Some of them have already been mentioned. So we have 2 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, UNESCO Global Geopark. The whole island here of the coast of Simane is also belongs to Simane. The whole island are UNESCO Global Geopark. And we also have a World Heritage Silver Mine, Namigina Silver Mine, which is also a UNESCO site. On top of that, we also have a Japanese garden. Gardens are kind of big in Japan, and almost you'll find gardens almost everywhere in Japan. But the #1 Japanese gardens all over Japan for the last 15-20 years is actually located in our state, in Yasuri. It's called Adachi Garden. And we have 2 other major national treasures. One is Matsue Castle, which is one of the original castles that's just stayed there as it is. So this is one of the only 5 national treasure castles are there, and this is one of them. And there's also a very important shrine, culturally and very symbolically also very important. So it is Izumo Taisha Shrine. So this is just to give you an idea of what you will enjoy in this part of Japan. It's it's not like a very big city like Tokyo or so, but we have a fair share of large chunk of rural area compared plus very peaceful environment for studies. So, well, where is university then? Well, we have 2 campuses. The main campus is in Matsue. That is where both of us are in right now. This includes all the faculties except medical faculty or Department of Medicine. And we have Izumo campus where we have Faculty of Medicine and the hospital. So that is why Professor OTANI said that he was living in Izumo for a long time. Yeah, this is the reason. So, well, what kind of relation do we have? Because this is primarily targeting Indian students. Of course, we understand that there are also several other South Asian students probably from other countries like Sri Lanka or Bangladesh and Nepal are also here. I would like to just focus on the relationship between India and Simane University in general right now. So please don't get offended if there are other participants. We welcome all of you equally. So this is just to show that this is the president of our university, Mr. Hattori, and this the previous ambassador of India to Japan, His Excellency Mr. Verma. So we have built a very, very close relationship between the Indian government, both the central and some state government levels, so that we can work very closely. In fact, there is also Professor Yamamoto here, who actually established the Raman Spectroscopic Center or Biomedical Center, which is where I was hired, in fact. So Raman Center is the Chesravi Raman Center, right? So this is just an example to show you that we have very close relationship with India in general, because we really see the potential that there is between the possibilities for Indian students in Simane University. So please welcome. And because I said we also have very strong collaboration with Kerala. So we have in fact opened a Japanese language center, joint center for Japanese language in Kochi University in Kerala. And our president went to open the center. It's been running successfully. And how we also not only look at getting Indian talent, but also how culturally we can also mix together, right? So we do invite many cultural Indian cultural performance teams when they are visiting Japan to come and also give performances in our university to let Japanese students and Japanese citizens know about the Indian culture. And last but not least, I mean, being an Indian, people do not really play cricket in Japan at all. So we introduced cricket in Simane University a few years ago. Well, so that means you will not really miss Japan, India so much if you are here. I mean, yes. And one simple fact also to say that not only about Indian cultural students, we also have a very strong alumni networks in other South Asian countries, including Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Nepal, and so on. So I'm just giving you a few examples here. So all these students so I have 2 Bangladeshi students in my laboratory who are doing PhD studies. There are 2 or 3 Indian students, and there's a Chinese student, and so on. So it's a very, very multicultural and very open place for anybody to come and study. So you can see that not only Indian students, of course, all other South Asian students who are in this webinar today, please feel comfortable to come and study in Simane University. So what kind of programs do we offer? Of course, we do offer, as a full-fledged national university, we have programs at all levels, but looking at what is suitable for Japanese international students, we primarily look at the undergraduate and graduate school, which if you're aiming for undergraduate programs, for general undergraduate programs, Japanese language is usually compulsory, but we do have a few not compulsory programs, but also there is a bilingual program. So if you have even low level of Japanese language, say N4, you will be eligible to apply for those programs where some basic Japanese may be required, but most of the courses will still be done in English. But still, if you're looking at undergraduate programs, I would really suggest to enter this program after having certain level of Japanese language. If you really want to enter general programs, you do not even want to be treated like a foreigner, then you must have a very high level of Japanese, because all the courses, examinations, and so on will be in Japanese. So at least N2 or sometimes N1 may be necessary depending on your program. And for graduate school, I think most of you are also interested in graduate school, including master's or PhD programs. And this is a good starting point where you do not require any Japanese language requirements in order to apply and study. Of course, to live in Japan, you may need, of course, some Japanese language proficiency, but that is not the main problem. I mean, to enter the school and to successfully complete your degree, you will not have any difficulty without Japanese language. So I said we have 2 campuses. Matsue campus includes all the general education and social sciences, human sciences, natural sciences, technology. When I say natural science and technology, it includes all the things that I'll mention very briefly in the next slide. And Uno campus includes medicine. So if you are looking at undergraduate medicine courses, it's almost impossible without Japanese language. So that's for a different session, I think, if you're really serious about it. But still, if you are, for example, looking for master's or PhD courses, especially looking at biomedical areas, so Faculty of Medicine can also be a very good candidate for you to consider, because as long as your background is in, say, for example, molecular biology or things like that, and you want to continue PhD in medical areas, of course, there's a good chance that you may enter medical school for PhD program. So, with that background, so what kind of fields of study or majors or departments do we have? For master's program, we have, say, science and engineering majors, where we have all sorts of basic sciences: mathematics, physics, chemistry, data science, information science and technology, and so on. And for engineering, we have, say, electronic engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical, and so on. And so all of this comes under this kind of umbrella. And we also have earth sciences, geology, and so we also have a very strong geology department, which I did not probably specify yet, but we have a very strong earth sciences community. And that also includes, architecture, chemistry, and so on. These for the environmental systems. And agricultural life sciences, we have these two major departments: life sciences, where I belong to, and agriculture and forest sciences. So you can always look up the websites to see if you can find some, if you are from this, interested in this kind of areas, you can always find somebody who's suitable to work with. So this is a master's program, so you do not have to worry too much about many things, because it is, the most important thing you must know is that the master's program is a by research program. That means you will still have to contact the professor and find out whether you'll be able to get into the laboratory and continue your research and write a thesis at the end of the master's program. So, of course, there are coursework that should be completed, and that is not to be worried. Anyways, and as for the doctoral programs, again, we have science and engineering or natural systems. More or less, all these departments, it will be recategorized into slightly different names. So do not worry about the departments or faculties and so on. Instead, you can just directly focus on the nature of work that you're interested in and find a professor who is actually working in your area of interest and try to contact them, right? So irrespective of your background, for example, if you're doing a bachelor's degree in engineering in a certain field and you want to change to a different field in master's, you are absolutely allowed to do that. So there's no such problem. And for example, you're doing bachelor's in engineering and you want to enter master's in sciences, for example, in my department, you can also do that. And cross may be kind of difficult, but depending on your interest, there is a very good chance that you may even move to a different or new field when you're entering master's or a PhD program. So how do we get admitted? There are two enrollments, as probably already the moderators mentioned. There's an April enrollment. These are primary major. So the academic year starts in April and ends in March. So we have two enrollments. One is April or spring semester, and the other is the October enrollment. That is your autumn semester. So you can, if you want to start your studies in April, you must submit your applications at least by November, but it actually starts earlier, much earlier, probably around August, September, October. You can start applying, and then the testing will be done in December, and then results will be out. So you can, once selected, you can get all the documents for visa and so on, and you must be here by the 1st of April, the next next year. Or if you are planning to enter in October, you'll have to apply right now. For example, that is one of the reasons why this is a very good timing for us to actually talk to you students. However, it's a kind of tight schedule. So, anyways, for your future reference, if you are interested in enrolling October semester, please apply by June, and then you'll be able to get all the information by July, end of July. And then once you get admitted, then you will be able to come to start your program from October. So what do we do? Well, I mean, you understand the outline, but what should be done actually? So all you need to do first is find somebody who you are interested to work with, especially in terms of area of research. How you can do that? How you can do that? There are so many different ways. You can, of course, look for different. If you are very stubborn about the university, you can look for people in the university. Or if you are, looking at the field, if you want to find different people, you can also, as a professor, I'm just telling you very roughly. I mean, generally, not talking only about my university. How you can find, you can look at research papers, published papers in Google Scholars or ResearchGate and so on. and then you'll be able to identify the area that you're interested in, and then you can try and write it there. If you contact them and if they also agree, then you'll be able to discuss together and make a field of study or research plan. This is one of the most important items that you must be, if your professor is convinced, that would be, you can only convince him or her based on your novel or good research plan. Then, well, that's all. Then the rest of things will be, given or taken care by the professor, and then he will instruct you how to go about the admission procedure, so you don't have to worry too much about it. But so you can also, to download application or application materials or guidelines, you can also scan this code. So how much does it cost? It roughly costs about 1.65 lakhs per semester, I think. No, this is per semester, 282,000. And sorry, I'm extremely sorry. So this is a one-time admission fee. Okay, so this is just one time when you enter for your master course or PhD course, which I will also explain how we can get tuition waiver later. The point is, a one-time fee which is usually paid, and tuition fee per year. This translates to about 3 to 3.5 lakhs, depending on the currency.
Professor Hemant, I'm
Yes.
sorry for interrupting. We are running out of time.
Oh, yeah, I'll be done in a minute now.
Thank you.
Less than a minute. Yes, sorry. Okay. So you can also find so many scholarships. So you'd always be able to find that scholarship. Please be sure that you'll be able to apply for full or even half or even full tuition exemption. And most of students do get, at least in my laboratory, all the students do have tuition waiver. So that is a very fair thing. And we have all sorts of support for job hunting. We have free language lessons. We have very low cost dormitories. And we also intentionally try to put together some Japanese students together in the buddy system so that you'll feel comfortable when you come here. And also we have foreign student association and so on, where they do lots of activities together. So you'll probably feel very comfortable. So finally, the key takeaway is that we are extremely student friendly. There's a very, very good, excellent and quiet environment. And there's a very strong support system for international students while studying and also to get jobs. And you will be able to experience real Japanese culture and lifestyle. As I said, it's very affordable because all English programs are available for master's PhD programs, and it's a very simple admission procedure. So if you have any questions or interests, please write to this email address, and you'll be able to get more information. I'm extremely sorry for taking a little longer than I expected. I would be happy to answer your questions in Q&A. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, representatives of Hiroshima University, for giving such a detailed and a comprehensive presentation. There are a couple of questions, but as we're running out of time, I will pick up only 2 questions. So if possible, Professor Hiroki, yes. I'd really appreciate it if you could answer these 2 questions. Number 1, is there a lab focusing on robotics or mechatronics at Simane University? Robotics or mechanical engineering?
So you're expecting me or the other person?
Anyone is okay.
Yeah, then let me just answer quickly. So as I said, in engineering department, it's a very extensive department. We have all sorts of engineering. So we don't really look at one particular thing. Meaning to say that if you find somebody could be in electrical department and working on robotics, somebody could be in a very different kind of department, and so we don't have as such as the name as in mechatronics or that's very common in India where there is a department mechatronics or masters in mechatronics. We have general mechanical engineering or all sorts of electrical engineering or electronics engineering and computer science and so on. And the laboratory may be working on robotic systems. So especially depending on various applications. So there could be many, at least I know 1 or 2 people, researchers who are working on robotics for different applications. They have very, very different outlooks, and the skills they are looking for are also very different. So there are professors or laboratories that work on robotics. Even in Faculty of Medicine, you will find people working on robotics. You will also find people working on robotics in pure life sciences. So we do have a lot of people working on it, but we don't have a program as such.
Okay, thank you. One last quick question. If students have done their bachelor's in technology, or for example, computer science, can they apply for the environmental science major at Shimane University?
In fact, it's a very good question. In fact, one of my PhD students right now, he completed master's in chemical engineering and he's doing a PhD program in agriculture and life sciences department. So it's absolutely possible as long as we identify certain research stream that the person will be able to do. And in addition to that, there are certain minimum courses that the student must take. And if the student is comfortable doing that, I think there should not be any problem. At least as far as the application procedure is concerned, the eligibility is definitely not a problem.
Thank you so much, Professor Hemant, for answering the questions. Professor Hiroki and Professor Hemant, I would really appreciate it if you can answer a couple of questions in the Q&A portal. There are many questions about Shimane University, so if you could take out some time and answer the question, that really be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll look at Q&A. Thank you very much for all.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the presentation. So we'll quickly proceed with the next presentation. I'll share the screen. So now we'll have a presentation by Hiroshima University. Hiroshima University is a prestigious national university in Japan, and it was selected as one of the top global universities by the Ministry of Education, Sports, Science and Technology. Recognized for its contributions to science, technology, and peace studies, Hiroshima University continues to make significant strides in advancing knowledge and addressing global challenges. So now I'd like to request Professor Das to give us an insight into the university.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All the staff members of University of Tokyo who have kindly organized and asked us to present our case in front of all of you. Can you see my presentation? Is that okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I basically come from India. I'm from I was born and brought up in Calcutta, and now for several years, more than a decade, I'm here in Hiroshima University. So I would give the introduction of our university to all of you, and would be happy to have any questions or queries on our admission procedures. So please feel free. And already many of the things have been discussed. They are very common to all of us. So about Hiroshima University, we from now on we will call it as HU sometimes. We are based in Southwest Japan, very close to Shimane. And this place of Hiroshima is in the Hiroshima prefecture. And the city of Hiroshima is a symbolic city of peace and history. We have two World Heritage Sites. One is Hiroshima Peace Memorial. Many of you have recently seen this in television because we hosted G7 summit very recently. And then we have the other Shinto shrine in Hiroshima. For this one is also, Hiroshima is very well known. I'm basically a geoscientist, a geologist. And from my experience, I can tell you, and knowledge, I can tell you that this is one of the least dangerous place to live in terms of large-scale disasters. And hence our living cost is also very low. Obviously, we are in a rural area setup. So in that way also, we are quite less costly than many of the metropolitan cities in Japan. Hiroshima University was established in 1949, 4 years after the atomic bombing. And you can see our emblem, which features the leaf of the phoenix tree as its motif, which symbolizes our hope of rebirth. Broad overview of our university is we want to be one of the largest comprehensive research universities in Japan and making steady progress as a global university. And our mission is to contribute to the well-being of the mankind by realizing a free and peaceful society. After this slide, I'll show you some videos, 2 videos actually, back to back, to introduce our university and the area around it. This is the 3 campuses. I'll discuss about it later. And Higashi Hiroshima campus, it is one of the largest campuses that we have. I'm sitting somewhere on the left-hand side, one of these buildings right now. And the next is that Higashi Hiroshima is just a little bit off from 30-40 kilometers off from the main city. And next slide, I will show you a video on Higashi Hiroshima campus as well as Higashi Hiroshima city.
Bienvenue à Hiroshima.
So that is it. And then I will directly jump to our presence in international academic field. We have many international exchange programs. Particularly, we have international students right now, 1,726 students from 86 countries and region. Out of these, 21 students are now are from India. And we have many international exchange agreements with different universities and institutes. Some are inter-university agreement, which amounts to nearly 354 institutions all over the world from 56 countries or region, and some interfaculty agreements, which also amounts to 374 institutions from 55 countries and region. And with them, we carry on many exchange programs. Two examples are shown here. One is we call HUSA, HUSA, Hiroshima University Study Abroad Program, where we accept students from these institutions, and also we send our students to them for 6 months to 1 year program, and the credits can be transferred between their home institutions and Hiroshima University. We have US university-specific programs called HU-GRIP, where we accept and we send students also for 8 weeks on research internship opportunities. Very recently, we have established an overseas university campus in Hiroshima University with Arizona State University, the Thunderbird School of Global Management, and Hiroshima University. We jointly offer a 2+2 learning program where students learn in Hiroshima University 2 years, and then they go to learn at ASU for 2 years, and finally the bachelor's degree are offered by ASU, and 2 courses are running, either bachelor's in global management or Bachelor of Science in International Trade. Eligible students are international school students of Japan, high school students of Japan, and any of the international schools from overseas. So with these activities, I will show you the ranking of Hiroshima University this is the Times Higher Education ranking. We are placed among one of the 11 top universities of the Japan University ranking in 2023. And THE Impact ranking, we are placed third in Japan with some other universities. And we were among 8 finalists for the International Strategy of the Year category for the second consecutive year now. And we were placed among first 100 universities all over the world for different SDG goals, like SDG 6, 14, 15, 11, 17, and 1. Inside the country, we were picked up as one of the 13 type A, top type universities by MEXT. And also we were selected as one of the 22 research universities. It is a MEXT program. MEXT means Ministry of Education in Japan. The program for promoting enhancement of research universities, we have been selected in this one as a research university. Well, for bachelor's degree programs, we have so far some of the courses which are given English-based programs. For example, 12 undergraduate schools. The green ones are all the programs you can have in English. For example, later this Humanities in English program, Law and Politics program, Education program in Cross-Cultural Communication, Economic Analysis in Economics degree. So in engineering, there are many. You can see the list, quite a big list. In science, Earth and Planetary System Science, I belong to this department. And we have the English-based programs, dentistry, applied biological science, medicine, pharmaceutical sciences, informatics and data science. There are different programs run which can be taken in English. And this is a rather new department called Department of Integrated Global Studies, where students get a degree, bachelor's degree in culture, tourism, peace, communication, and environment and society. All the courses are in this department are taught in English. Students from all over the globe come here and enjoy their undergraduate studies. You can get more information on this one from Hiroshima IGS. We call this department as IGS. Now, graduate school program offers graduate studies. In India, we call it postgraduate studies, that is master's and PhD. We have 5 graduate schools: Humanities and Social Science School, Integrated Science for Life, Innovation and Practice for Smart Society, Advanced Science and Engineering, I belong to this one, and Biomedical and Health Sciences. So here, most of the courses, postgraduate courses are offered in English because master's courses are extremely research intensive courses. So you have hardly very limited amount of classes that you have to take. So people can go through this one without much hurdle of Japanese language. As I showed you, we have 3 campuses. Higashi Hiroshima campus, where I am now, is the main campus. We have 8 schools and 4 graduate schools. It's here in Hiroshima, Higashi Hiroshima, and 2 other in Kasumi and Higashi Senda. Kasumi is the medical school, medical dentistry and pharmaceutical fields. And Higashi Senda, these 2 are in Hiroshima City. They are hosting law school, Center for Peace, and School of Law and Politics program also. Well, expenses and scholarships. As already mentioned, we are one of the national universities. So these top 2 rows are almost same. We have you have to pay application fees, enrollment fees, and tuition fees, which is same all over Japan in the national universities. And there is another category called research student, where students come from different universities for a short period of time, so they pay per month tuition fees. And here we have given the approximate equivalence of US dollar in terms of 120 yen per USD, which is now increased to 140. So you can, these values would come down quite a bit. For a graduate school student, first year they approximately pay 7,000 USD, and second year they pay 4,470 USD, which in reference to many of the private universities quite low, quite a bit low. We have exemption and deferment system of different fees. For example, enrollment fees can be deferred, can be exempted or deferred, depending on the financial conditions of the student. But this is not applicable to the research student category. Tuition fees are also can be exempted, partly or fully, depending on your academic record and your financial conditions, so that you with that your total financial burden comes down quite a bit. Okay, we also accept many of the mixed scholarship students who get scholarship through either through Japanese embassy recommendation or through our university recommendation. And particularly IGS student, international global studies students, they get undergraduate recommendation for scholarships through university. And at present, 14% of the foreign students are mixed scholars. We have many other scholarships. Some are provided by international organizations, local government, and also some private organizations. So nearly 42% of the applicants get this, either of these one. They are of different amounts and of different period. Hiroshima University itself has many programs, but their number of these scholarships are limited. For example, HUPAS, we call it admission, prior to admission scholarship program. This is the financial aid that one can get. Obviously, tuition fees are exempted, but it's only 1 year, 4 students can get it. Excellent student scholarship programs are there, which are also very competitive, but we try to give it to as many as possible. And then we have postgraduate advancement project, where students can get this kind of research scholarships, next generation scholarships, STEM female research fellowships. These are some of these postgraduate scholarship programs. There they get stipends as well as research funds. You can get the information in our university website. Now, admission procedure, it's I will show you the flow for a postgraduate student application. You have to go through our university web system, particularly from the admission information. You have to find out a proper supervisor of your choice at least 6 months before application period. And then by 3 months before the application period, you have to enroll into this admission system called International Admission Assistance System. It's an online system. They will connect you to the to that supervisor, and you can, if the supervisor says okay, then you can directly communicate with him or her. And after that, if he or she says preliminary to accept your application, then you have to apply through the university admission office. And once you get the result, you will, you'll be having a application, examination, test, etc. after that. So how can you find a teacher or supervisor? Is that you can go to this researcher button of our university homepage, and there is a researcher database. From that, you can search either through, if you know the direct names, then directly the names, or else any of the topics. Admission information are there in all of the graduate schools. Homepage have an admission tab where you can click and get the admission procedures. Well, this is the general flow. Once you get the clearance from IAAS, if it is approved, you can enroll as a research student. Then you apply for the admission entrance examination. Normally for April admission and October admission, these are the timelines. And then if you are passed through that entrance examination, you're officially a graduate student at Hiroshima University. Well, apart from financial supports, we have many other supports. It's very vibrant support system that we have from the time of admission, peer-to-peer assistance so that you can quickly settle into the life of Hiroshima, like opening a bank account, etc., which are very important. So supporter systems is there. There are other various support systems. I'll talk about it in the next slide. And also before graduation, we have a Global Career Design Center who guides students to find jobs in Japan. And these are the recent data that many of our foreign students have got jobs in Japan. As I said, we have tutor system where one of the teachers will take care of your problems related to study and also other problems if you can communicate with him or her. And then there is a peer support room where you can have counseling for any problems you have. We have accessibility center to assist students with disabilities. So apart from that, we have a Japanese language school called Morito Institute of Global Higher Education, who offers language courses for the students who want to study a little bit of Japanese language. I think this lady here is my PhD student. And then, yeah.
I apologize for interrupting, but we are running out of time. So if you can conclude the presentation.
Yes, I'll finish soon. And then we have health service center, etc. Student life, we provide housing in all the campuses, near campuses. Some are university dormitories, but some are private and public housings are also available. Students commute through all sorts of public and private utilities, and we are very well connected. There are no problems with food inside the university campus and outside. Also, we have different options are there. Students apparently enjoy these. Around the universities, you have different places to do self-studies, libraries, etc. Students offer part-time jobs. Also, International Student Organization, they organize different activities. And during a day off, international students either they go by themselves or are taken to different activities outside the university campus. These are the social media sites where you can find us. And thank you. Thank you for your patience. Sorry, I have overstayed time. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor KAUSHIK, for the detailed presentation. I'll pick up one question.
Yep.
There are many questions, so you could go ahead and answer them after your Q&A session. But one question I'd like to pick up is, are there courses in biotechnology at Hiroshima University? And if are there scholarships provided?
Yeah, there are many courses, many programs in biotechnology. We have a dedicated faculty for that. Some of them are now reorganized, and they are either with biological science or with life and biological systems science, or even with medical science. So I encourage students who have raised this question to go through our home pages and find out in which biotechnology is a big thing. So in which area he or she wants to do the research or want to study more, and directly contact them. And fellowships, yes, there are, as I said, there are many fellowships available for limited times or for longer times. And definitely we have tuition fees and other fee deferment and fees exemption systems. Many of our foreign students are getting those things.
Thank you so much, Professor Kaushik, for answering the question. There's still a couple of questions. You can go ahead answering them when other presenters are presenting.
Okay,
But once again,
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll share the agenda once again. Okay. So now we have presentation by University of Tsukuba. First, I'll talk a little about the university. It is a very esteemed national university in Japan. It is a top type university for the top global university project by the Japanese government. It provides some of the best programs to international students in an eclectic array of subjects, especially sciences. It has established several research centers for undergraduate, graduate, and PhD studies. The university is also home to several Nobel laureates and Olympians. So now I'd like to request Mr. Shah to give us an insight into the university.
Hello, Ms. Kushi. Thank you very much for your kind introduction. My name is Mahdi Katsumata Shah, and I'm going to share my screen now. So here we go. Hopefully you can see the screen. And here I go. We don't have much time. So here sorry about that. Okay. So let me start by saying that University of Tsukuba is, you might have guessed, is in the city of Tsukuba. It is very close to Tokyo. It is about 45 minutes by train from Tokyo, and it's about 60 minutes by bus from Narita International Airport. So it's very, in terms of access, there's no problem. Tsukuba is a science city, meaning that 50% of the R&D research budget of the country is being used in this city, apparently. And that is because of the presence of about 30 national research institutes, such as JAXA, the space agency, or NIMS, which deals with nanotechnology and so forth. So it is steeped in all things science related to science and tech, and our university is nestled right in the midst of all this action. So, for example, with NIMS, there is a joint collaboration that is happening, and we have professors and students going back and forth to the institutions conducting research activities. So that's one example of a merit of being in a designated science city. Also, because of that fact, there are so many international people and highly educated people in general. So it's a very nice place to be. 1 out of 10 people in this city is employed by a research institute or by the university, and 1 out of 28 people have PhDs. So it is said that if you throw a stone in Tsukuba, there's a very high probability that it will hit a researcher. So please don't. I'm not saying that you should throw stones at people, but that's just an example. Also, the city itself is a small town. It has about 250,000 people, but it's highly, there are shopping centers in the middle, in the center of town, and then there are all these trees and pathways that are connected, so you can run, you can cycle, you can go on picnics. So in that sense, it's very nice. Personally, I love running, around this parkway. I think you can make out a rocket. This used to be used for actual missions, but now it's a relic. And so it's a very, my point is that it's a very nice place. As Ms. Hoshi earlier mentioned, we have produced Nobel laureates. We have our athletes have won over 130 Olympic and Paralympic medals. So very strong in sport. We have, and I'll tell you why later. But our university has been around for 150 years, and 151 years to be exact. And it moved from Tokyo to Tsukuba City in 1973, exactly 50 years ago. So this year is a very important year for us. On September 30th of this year, where we are conducting a series of activities and events commemorating this anniversary. So our university was originally established by this person. His name was Dr. Jigoro Kano. So he not only invented the school that became Tsukuba, but he also invented the sport of judo. And he was the first IOC member, IOC meaning the International Olympic Committee member from Asia. He advocated for the Olympics to happen in Asia. So it couldn't happen during his lifetime, but the fact that Olympics have taken place in Asia is very much thanks to his effort, we think. To reflect his legacy, we have over 2,500 international students out of a student body of student and researcher body of 16 to 17,000, and the international students and researchers represent 116 countries and regions, including India, of course. We are a top 10 Japanese university. We are ranked 9th, and we have degree programs for international students. We have what is known as an interdisciplinary approach to education research, and I'll illustrate that by using this example. For example, bottom right, you see this robotic suit, and the reason why I'm showing this is that it is a result of interdisciplinary approach to research. So it's not just about robotics, but it's also about medical science, because the robot has been used to treat paraplegic patients, and it is known to shorten the time taken to rehabilitate patients compared to traditional methods. Also, it's also about information science, because the computing system gives suggestions as to the optimal amount of movement that the patient should be taking to make progress in terms of treatment. So it's really a cross collaboration between robotics and information sciences and medical sciences. And also, there's also the fourth factor, which is the healthcare industry. So that's about social science. So it's about management. So this research became a company, and Dr. Sankai is also the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, and this system is being sold to different hospitals and education systems around the world. So this is an example of what Tsukuba is striving for. And I'm going to talk first about undergraduate degrees and then graduate degrees, because I'm assuming that there are some high school students or students looking for undergraduate programs in the audience today. So please listen to the presentation till the end for both groups, undergraduate and graduate groups. But I do not have much time, so I'm just going to simply simplify this statement by saying that the program in terms of undergraduate programs is the integration. We define it as an integration of liberal arts and specialized education. So we give you a well-rounded education, but also we expect you to have specialized knowledge regarding the topic that you have chosen. Here we have a wide variety of programs in all these different disciplines. And of course, as you know, as my esteemed colleagues have explained for their respective universities in Simane and Hiroshima, Tsukuba is also a comprehensive university spanning disciplines from art and sport all to medicine, humanity, informatics, and so on. And what's interesting is that sometimes there's this collaboration that happens between these disciplines to solve problems that societies are now faced with in these days. So we have 40+ degree programs and or 2,800 classes taught in English. I'm going to talk about these programs, and please understand that for the undergraduate level programs, these programs are taught in English, except the very last one. So the first one is Life Environmental Science. I'm sorry, I'm going to go from here. We teach the interdisciplinary engineering program in English. It offers 3 max scholarship slots as well, so it's a very good deal. And when you apply for the program, you automatically are applying for the scholarship program. So this is a multidisciplinary within the engineering field program, so spanning 4 different topics. The biology programs are again very hands-on. Students are exposed to different kinds of environment. For example, we also even have the Shimoda Marine Research Center. So if students are into marine science, they are able to conduct research in such habitats. So in that sense, it is a good program, a good set of programs, I should say, because 3 programs are being offered here. Each will take about 5 to 6 students, and they're all taught in English. So here, this is the international, let me just remove this here. I hope you can see this. The International Social Studies program. So we teach topics in economics, law, political science, and sociology. Again, please understand that we are not offering a law degree or a political science degree, but we are offering a bachelor's in international social studies. So students exposed to these topics. They do research, they do extracurricular, such as going to Washington, D.C. to take part in National Model United Nations. And our students intern globally. Once they graduate, they have gone on to universities such as University of Tokyo and University of Berkeley, or they have found jobs in leading companies in Japan and abroad. This is the flow. Please look at our websites at the end of October and until December. So there's like a 7-week period during which you need to submit your documents. Yeah, and then you take it from there. Yeah. And these 2 programs, Bachelor's Program, Global Issues, and Japan Expert Program, they run on a different track. So they will accept applications in March of 24, and they will admit in September of 24. They happen late. What are they? This is a program that deals with global issues, often reflected in SDGs. And students, learn hands-on techniques to solve global issues. This is the Japan Expert Program. If you have, again, let me remove this a little bit. If you have JLPT N2 and 3, you can apply to these tracks, and then you can eventually sit alongside native Japanese people to study programs in healthcare, agrobiological resource sciences, Japanese language teaching, and also art and design. Again, this is the application window. Okay, so here, these are the admission requirements. You need to have completed 12 years and so on. So please look at, I think that Ms. Hoshi has, pointed this out to some people in the chat section, and she's absolutely right. Please look at the admissions requirements for each program, because they are unique, right? So you need to go into the website. You need to really look into you need to do your research. Okay, so please do not rely on me or Ms. Hoshi or any of those any of us, for specific information. You need to go in and get specific information by yourself. Yeah, nobody will do it for you. Okay, so you have to do it by yourself. And then once you get there, then you can ask questions directly to the university administrators who are in charge of this if you have specific questions. Yeah, so. So this is the enrollment booklet for students who are looking for undergraduate studies. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to move on. There's very little time. So I have not talked about cost and financial assistance, because I'll talk about it at the very end. So please stick with me till the very end. Here, now I'm moving on to graduate programs. We have all these programs offered, and many programs are not being offered in English. So please be careful when you look into it. I'm skipping all this stuff so that I can give you some examples of programs that are taught in English. For example, this is the PhD program in human biology, combining computational science, biological science, material science, medicine, and you need to have a background in any one of these sciences. You can, this is a 5-year commitment. They're looking for very talented students who are committed to solving research issues in terms of human biology. Now, here's another program called Empowerment Informatics, which is a combination of engineering and art and psychology, coming up with technological solutions to human problems. Again, very difficult to explain, but hopefully you get the idea. This is also a doctoral program, 5-year commitment. There's also, if you are into bioengineering or bioinformatics or disease mechanism, environmental management and so on, drug discovery, then TLSI or program in life science innovation is very good. This is either a master's program or a doctoral program, so you can choose one or the other. This is also taught in English. This is the program in humanics, where it's a little bit similar to human biology. You will get 2 mentors, one in physical sciences, engineering, informatics, and the other one in biomedical sciences. And so, for example, an example of a research project the student is conducting is here, which is neuroscience and nonlinear optics, surgery and augmented reality. So these are some really hot topics, buzzwords that are being around in the media as well, I'm sure. So this is a PhD program, and this, if you are into sports sciences, this program TS 2.0 is, and there are many nice professors in there, but I know one personally, Dr. Randeep Rakwal from India. So he's one of the leading professors here, so you will be in good hands. It's a very excellent program in sports management. If you are into that, it's a 2-year master's program. If you are into heritage sciences, and if you're interested in maintaining the heritage sites in your country, for example, then we provide this program, again in English, again a multidisciplinary program. So these are some programs that I just explained. There are more that are taught in English. I explained some programs that are truly interdisciplinary in nature, and hopefully to attract some people's attention in this audience. Yeah. So again, this goes to this is my message is the same as before. Please be specific. Try to find specific information regarding your preferred program. So, for example, this one is a master's program in mathematics. So here we have 2 different tracks running in terms of schedule and so on, right? So then, and you have an application window of like 2 months, right? So this is for math only, right? So you have to find out, yeah? So first of all, check your eligibility and read carefully and decide whether you are eligible or not. And this is very important. This is something that my esteemed colleagues in Simane University and Hiroshima University have pointed out, which is that you need to contact your prospective advisor. This is the key element in graduate studies in Japan. You have to find a graduate advisor for your program, otherwise you cannot get admitted. This is very different compared to Western institutions, which are institutional. Here in Japan, even though we represent our institutions, the programs are driven by professors. They are key, and they will guide you through your career and perhaps beyond. So you need to find who your prospective advisor should be. So we have this system called TRIOS. You know, I think that my professor in Hiroshima University just mentioned their system. So we have TRIOS. So please check and investigate the research works of the advisor thoroughly before contacting. Okay, so please don't say, you know, I need a scholarship, give me admission. You know, this is the kind of messaging that I'm seeing today as well. So this is a very kind of not a very subtle way. It's not a very intelligent way of getting something that you want. You need to be very specific about what you want to study. So please read the abstract of the professor, at least read the abstract of the professor, and find out what he or she has been doing, and then see whether you have similar topic, you have similar research questions or not. No, I'm sorry, research interests or not. So this is really important, and that's the rest is very logical. It's you have to submit your TOEFL, TOEIC scores, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So student support is provided, of course, English speaking staff and etc. Japanese language training. This is dormitory, food courts, halal, restaurants, and so forth. Yeah. So yeah, and so the fee structure is like this. It's less than $5,000 per year. It's just over $4,000 per year. Compared to America, US, Canada, UK, this is peanuts, right? So please consider that before you factor in your finances. And then the monthly cost of living is also like 20 to 30% cheaper compared to a metropolis like Tokyo or Osaka. Yeah, so you can also work up to 20 hours per week, right? You can also get a tuition waiver of 30 to 50%, sometimes 100%, depending on the family situation. You might be able to receive a 60,000 yen Tsukuba scholarship if you're undergraduate, 80,000 if you're graduate. Undergraduate for 60,000, and graduate you might get 80,000 yen, which is about $500 and this is like about $700 or so. Yeah. So so this is outside of the MEC scholarships that you might have heard of. So first thing, you should of course look into the MEC scholarship, which is provided by the Japanese embassy in your country. But the competition is really high. So you can also look at other options as well. So please look into this website for graduate admissions for further clues, hints, and best of luck. It's a little bit, it's a bit of a labyrinth, meaning that it's a maze. It's very confusing sometimes. But if you stay positive and follow the advice that we have given you today, you will hopefully succeed in getting admissions into a Japanese university and conduct your education research here. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shah, for the very, very insightful presentation. There were a couple of questions in the Q&A portal, but the panelists have answered most of them. I'll just ask you a quick question. Could you kind of give insights into the biotechnology program at Tsukuba University?
Biotech is, there's no such thing as a biotech program. There are programs that deal with biotechnology. I think this is also very similar to a professor who just talked, I think he said something similar before. We have biotechnologists, of course. For example, the TLSI program, the Life Sciences program, has programs which use biotechnology to solve problems. So if you say, oh, I want to do biotech, it's going to be, it's going to be hard for you in Japan because there is no, I think there might be biotech majors out there, but my point is that you have to be specific about what kind of research do you want to do in biotechnology? What kind of problem do you want to solve? What papers have you been writing? What is your undergraduate background, for example, and so forth, right? So depending on that, there are programs, for example, the human biology program that I mentioned has elements of biotechnology in it. The humanics program that I mentioned has elements of biotechnology in it. So It doesn't answer your question, I know, but what I mean to say is that we don't have a biotech major per se.
Yeah, I think as you just mentioned, you actually mentioned that in Japan, also, if you go on the internet and look for biotechnology programs, you might not find them, but
Yeah.
you can enroll into the biology undergrad or graduate programs. And within those programs, like courses in biotechnology or maybe biomechanical engineering or whatever. But then you'll need to enroll into the biology course, and within the biology course, biology program, you might find different courses.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right.
So it really is like a multidisciplinary approach towards education, which
absolutely.
Which makes Japan stand out when comparing it to countries in the West.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the structure is different, right? Because our universities are driven by professors, professors' labs. So when you become a graduate student in Japan, you belong to a lab. So then the lab professor is your sensei, is your mentor, and then you have other mentors who are his older students, right? So you enter this hierarchy. Of course, not all labs are alike. So then within the laboratory, you will conduct research. So if the student wants to do biotech, and for example, Professor so-and-so has been doing that as part of his or her research, then you have to find that advisor. So that's why we're saying, and all our universities are saying today, that please look into the professors' profiles first in Simane and Hiroshima and Tsukuba and Tokyo and KO and everywhere. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for answering the questions. For all the students who want to especially get their PhD degree in Japan, as all the professors have mentioned, don't look for universities or programs, look for professors. And once you contact the professor and find the professor whose interests align with yours, contact the professor personally, and hopefully in a span of a couple of weeks, the professor will reach out to you. So so please go and look for the professors on the internet, or you can always contact the admissions office for more information. Thank you so much, Mr. Shah, for the presentation.
Thank you very much.
Please
take care. Okay, thanks.
So this marks the end of our webinar. Thank you so much to all the panelists and attendees for participating in today's webinars. The recordings of the webinars conducted earlier are also uploaded to the University of Tokyo India office site. And as Ms. Sakshi mentioned, we also have a YouTube channel now, through which you can find our previous recordings. And you can access the recordings by scanning this QR code. So please take a moment and take a picture of this QR code so that you can access the recordings even after the webinar. And kindly check our Instagram and Facebook pages for more updates on the webinars. And just see you all in the upcoming webinars. And thank you so much for participating. Thank you to all the professors for taking out time to present and help students in India to pursue their further studies.
Thank you. Thank you very much for hosting.
Yeah.
Thank you.